still a substantive, was also unconstitutional. And you wrote that letter drawing the attention of the presidency to it. And that's the second bit of the concerns that you attached on. Looking back now and now reading that letter you wrote to the presidency has been upheld, although yes, you were not, you didn't take the case to the Supreme Court, but it has been upheld by the Supreme Court. I wonder how that makes you feel.
Well, it makes me feel good that even though the presidency made it very clear that I don't appreciate the issues because I'm not a lawyer, but then here's the case: the Supreme Court is upholding my position, so it makes me feel good. Uh, law, from my point of view, I scanned the Constitution and I didn't see any such provision that at any point in time when the president is not happy with you or feels one or other way, he should appoint an acting auditor general because an auditor general must take an oath of office. So I thought it was not the right thing, but I was told I was not a lawyer. And now that those who know the law, those in whose bosom or in whose mouth it lies to interpret the constitution and the laws of Ghana have spoken, I can only thank God. And Evans, let me say on a lighter note that it comes as a very big birthday present to me. Tomorrow is my birthday. So it puts me in a very good birthday mood.
And a happy birthday in advance. And very finally, before you go to prepare to cut the cake ahead of tomorrow, what do you believe this will mean for that institution you headed?
Yeah, at least it gives the Auditor General the free mind to do his or her work as required by law or as required by the Constitution, without the fear that if his work does not sit well with the executive or the presidency, they are going to find a way of pushing him away. That to me is a very good development, and I thank God it has come. Several auditors general are going to be appointed in the future. Several presidents are going to come, but this ruling will be there to guide all of us, and I think it's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel Demelevo. And Daniel Demelevo is going to be on Upfront in just 15 minutes for a 1 hour extensive conversation with my colleague Raymond Aqua. You don't want to miss that. I want to bring in Dr. Kojo Asante, and he represents the CDD. And the CDD is one of the 9 civil society organizations who took this matter to the Supreme Court. He's a director of policy and advocacy there, and he joins us on Zoom right now. Dr. Asante, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Good evening, Evans. I hope you are very well.
I am doing great. So finally, the judgment came, but did it come a shade too late?
Well, yes, I mean, certainly. Well, I wouldn't say, I mean, when you put it in context, the Supreme Court ruling is quite significant. And we made this point right at the beginning, even at the time when we were not getting the case called, that this was beyond Mr. Dumlovo's, peculiar case. We wanted, of course, it to be expedited so that whatever wrong and violation of the Constitution that was going on will be corrected and that he could stay in office, particularly given his own track record, the kinds of innovations and steps that he was taking to ensure accountability. So we wanted the matter dealt with and to restrain the president from constructively dismissing him. But that didn't happen, and then he was, pushed out of office. But we made the point that the Supreme Court needed to have a pronouncement of this case because the interpretation of the president in terms of his powers, administrative powers under the Constitution, was far-reaching if it did not have any commentary from the Supreme Court, if there was no clarification of interpretation of that particular provision of the Constitution. So this is very, very important because it's not just about the Auditor General. It's about all the independent governance institutions that are set up under the Constitution and the extent to which, the president have administrative powers over the heads of those kinds of institutions. That is what this ruling is addressing. And that's why, even though it didn't come early to protect Mr. Domlovo, it should protect others in the future.
And the fact that this is unanimous on a lot of the points, not only the accumulated leave, proceed on leave, and the replacement of him by another one, the fact that this was unanimous in all sense, in all consideration, does that add anything to how important this is in making this emphatically a no-go area for any future president who wants to contemplate it?
No, I am wary of executive power that is not restrained, and particularly when there are gaps, a lack of clarity as to whether the president, then the presidencies, tend to kind of just grab those powers or overextend their powers if there is no clear rules around these things. So, I mean, one of the jobs we have to do now that the judgment has come from the Supreme Court is really to look very carefully at the conditions of service for these independent governance institutions, and to make sure that these kinds of responsibilities that come with the office are properly regulated and documented. Because if we don't do that, then it always leaves it open. Somebody might try it again, and by the time maybe you might get a judgment or a pronouncement, the damage has already been done. I mean, what has happened? It really has battered and created a fear in the public service for some heads of institutions, and you don't know how far-reaching that is. People might not want to really exercise their mandate because they're afraid that something may happen. And yes, the judgment is there, but that individual may think that, well, if I do it, I'm the one that is going to be suffer, be victimized. The country might benefit, but I'll be victimized, and therefore I wouldn't try it. Thankfully, Mr. Demlovo, was bold and courageous, asserted his mandate, and people didn't like that. But that is what we need. But we want to create a system that even when you are not bold and courageous, you can still be able to carry on your duties without fear of favor. And that's why we have to look, with a tooth comb to make sure that we don't give people opportunities, to undermine our constitution building process that has been going on for 30 years and has served us well.
And the court, however, today also opted not to issue any other orders, including stopping Mr. Domelebu from proceeding on leave, of course, because he's since retired. But that says something about the approach the Supreme Court adopts in some of these cases. The question of expedition. Because if they had done it in time, then this would have been relevant, and Mr. Demlo would have probably served the full term.
Yeah, and I think it's something that the judicial service itself, there has to be an engagement, because I mean, we have seen the treatment of cases in the way the Supreme Court has handled different cases, particularly political cases. The disquestion case, for instance, there's a lot of cases that came, involving decisions at the parliament and all of that were, expedited. There were cases where the Attorney General is, quickly producing a response to expedite the process, and in some cases, just drags his feet, for a long time. I think we have to address these things because it affects the delivery of justice and the reputation of the judicial system. If it is seen as, well, it's not applied fairly and consistently. And there has to be a reason, even if it's going to be a delay, there has to be a reason for those delays. So I think that these are some of the reflections coming out of this. And I think it will serve both the judiciary well, and those of us who see the judicial the role of the judiciary as critical in a democracy, to ensuring that the powers of the executive or the executive is restrained from abuses and excesses. And if we undermine or the perception that the judiciary is not being fair, in the way it treats cases and so on, then it would affect all of us. So I think it's one of the reflections that we have to have. There's a new Chief Justice. Maybe it's an opportunity, to raise some of these concerns and see if there are ways in which, it can be addressed.
And since this judgment was delivered, I've seen many posts and use that popular phrase, justice delayed, justice denied. And Domelevo actually says many have sent him same as well. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah. I mean, for Mr. Domelevo, yes. And of course, he robbed us of a real leader, somebody committed to anti-corruption and accountability. And given our circumstances, we need people like that there. It would have inspired more, public servants who maybe might not be bold enough. But, if somebody like that had continued to do his work to sanitize the system, maybe it will inspire there. So we've lost all of that opportunity, right? But yes, as I said, for him personally, it didn't serve him well, but at least it's going to serve Ghana going forward.
Thank you very much. And that's Dr. Kojo Asante with the CDD, one of 9 civil society organizations who took this matter to the court and have been battling this for years. Now the Supreme Court had delivered its verdict, vindicating Mr. Domelevo on that particular subject. I want to take your views on the subject. If you have any, 055-1111-997. Earlier you had Daniel Domelevo himself, who says he feels vindicated on this very matter, and he is confident that it will provide the necessary basis for whoever occupies that position as Auditor General to have the confidence to take on the system if they choose to do so. Send me your thoughts, 055-1111-997. Another major story we are following for you tonight is the countdown to deactivation. Some 7.4 million SIM cards risk being deactivated by midnight today. But in the last few minutes, we are learning that there is some significant development on this particular issue. And thankfully, we can speak to Ken Ashigbe, who heads the Chamber of Telecoms and joins us now. Mr. Ashigbe, I understand that there's been some development on this.
Well, thank you. And so even the 7.4 million is about those mobile money SIMs that are going to be impacted. For those on the voice calls, it's about 9 million. Well, the good thing is that, due to the engagement with NTA, and their magnanimity, they've agreed that instead of barring tomorrow and blocking and removing everybody else, from tomorrow, the 9 million or so will be blocked. So you'll not be able to make a call. You'll not be able to receive a call. You will not be able to send an SMS, but the operators will be able to send you SMSs. And then you will still retain access to be able to dial your star 404 to be able to do your SIM registration should you get your Ghana card. So, but the thing about it is that there is no time limit to that. The NTA studying it could come a day or two after and say, okay, if you don't, you're blocked. So we all need to take advantage of the magnanimity of the NCA and go get our Ghana card or get our registration done so that we don't lose our ability to be able to make a call. We don't lose our ability to be able to do mobile money. For those 7.4 million or so people, there are about 200 million CDs that is on their wallet. If their numbers are blocked, would be kept into an account and they would be able to access it off mobile money if they don't register. But we still have a day or 2 or 3, we don't know how long, to be able to still do our 404 if we are blocked from tomorrow, to be able to still get us registered and come back to getting access to telecommunication services.
That's a very important clarity. Yes, your number will be blocked and you can receive calls, but you can still register.
Correct. And what the other thing for you and I also as customers is that the fraudsters and all of them, they would be taken off.
Oh, apologies that we lost him there. That's the development on this all important matter. As it clarifies, there some 9 million people will be affected. 9 million SIM cards will be affected by this. As it's clarifying there, yes, your numbers will be blocked. You cannot make calls tomorrow. You can make calls, you can receive, but the window there for you to still use that phone, that SIM card to register. So the countdown is still on. This is Top Story.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number? The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Aye straight. Aye direct. Aye sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant's number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant's number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today. Vodafone.
Wouldn't you prefer an apartment hotel? One that offers the utmost convenience of a boutique hotel while offering the idyllic comfort of your own private home. Oasis Park Residences offers luxury studios, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms both for short and long-term rental at competitive rates. Our sky swimming pool, gourmet outdoor restaurant and a fully equipped gym rest on a breathtaking rooftop with panoramic views of the city. Oasis Park Residences, located at Shiashi Tetekwashi, 10 minutes from the international airport, is the ideal place for all your accommodation needs. Why don't you give us a call on 020-4343-009 or visit our website at oasisparkresidences.com to make your reservations. Oasis Park Residences, more than a home.
I've got Bell back and I won't let go.
My name is Nanama McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue, say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Paper chow. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055-11-44400. Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, 87 miners who barricaded themselves in a shaft of Anglo-Gold Obuasi mines finally emerge from the pit. After more than 24 hours of negotiations, we will bring you details as Obuasi East District Security Council hand them over to the police.
As I speak with you, 87 had come out about an hour ago, and they were given to the police. Their statements were taken. Some were granted bail yesterday before I left the scene.
We'll take you live to the community tonight where we have our reporters on the ground gauging the mood after all the miners we understand emerged. Also tonight, who represents the MPP in the Asin North contest as fight for the seat commences. Details as 2 people pick forms to contest the seat on the ticket of the MPP.
For today, I'm aware that 2 people have been able to procure their forms. We are still waiting until tomorrow to see the way forward.
Already the National Youth Wing of the MPP say they are storming the constituency.
We are going to Asin North, and let me make a bold declaration that we are going to win. Hands down, just like we did in the Kumewu by-election. Amen.
Plus, why market queens are picking forms from Alan Tremantin. We have the latest.
We promised Alan Tremantin that we will give him our support.
And then later here on Newsnight, the story of how ECG busted a suspected power thief found to be stealing power for himself and selling same illegally to 33 other homes here in Accra.
This person had also done an illegal connection. Now, this means that all the power that is being consumed, the power is not passing through the meter.
And in business, price of LPG expected to witness some significant reduction from tomorrow.
And in sports, management of newly promoted Tano Bafakwa commits to invest massively into the club to ensure they become a mainstay in the Ghana Premier League.
For Africa giving Europe 500 solid years of our people to work your canes, to dig your gold. In exchange for that, we have got nothing, and you know it, nothing.
An icon of storytelling in this country and one of Africa's most celebrated authors and playwright, Professor Ama Atayedu, passes on.
I'm very glad that I wrote The Dilemma when I wrote The Dilemma, because I'm not so sure that now I would have had the courage, because the whole relationship between Africans and the children of the African exile. We
bring you a special report as tributes pour in. My name is Evan Spencer. Details now. Now, 87 miners who barricaded themselves in the shaft of Anglo Gold Obuasi mines have agreed now with the authorities and have emerged from that pit after hours of negotiations. They include 16 others who were arrested in a fresh attempt to enter the underground mine pit in the middle of the night. Yes, many more wanted to go back into that pit. Now, earlier reports have suggested over 300 illegal miners were trapped in this abandoned underground mining pit and were in danger after having gone several hours without food and other essentials. But Joy News independent checks revealed the illegal miners were not trapped at all, but had declined to use alternative access routes for fear of being arrested. Tahiru Gado is an executive member of the Small Scale Miners Association who led attempts to convince illegal miners there to come out voluntarily.
They were not trapped willingly. And omuko say omuko pe omanu aduane abeti. Na unfortunately no on their part no baby omufa wurom no me say mine no so leadership no ehu ye. And omuko sili ho omuko kata baby omufa wurom no ano. That's just say they can no go back where they went through. That's just say there's the only alternative way omuwoye say omasa pass it through the mine tunnel inside the mine. And also obviously impossible. Upia not just a wahane over to the mine security. So this led to the public hearing. Say yanko for call juma by 2-3 days we munti mimba ya kata baby omo pass it through no. Na say move it to whoever matter for the public to help.
And this standoff raged for days, but tonight, as you're learning, it may just be over. An eyewitness, Kojo Jemfi, shares an insight on why the miners were hesitant to come out.
Sometimes some narrative caught public sympathy and it inflated emotions. They had the opportunity to come out, and we were there. Myself and the host of Minerals Commission, Mining Inspectorate, we were there. And they opened the gate for the young men to come out. But for fear of being arrested, they defied the orders to come out. So, of a truth, in court, they weren't trapped. They were hesitant to come out for fear of being arrested, because some said they are pending cases before the law court. So any further arrest might make their case worse. Every openings at the South Mine ends up at the Kodor. Even if you use some unapproved route, Kodor opening is the right place for you to be saved or to be rescued. So of a truth, they went through some unapproved means from other openings, but they all gathered at the Kodor gate, where they were all rescued.
Well, that's what an eyewitness witnessed and shared with us. The Obuasi East District Security Council has also been revealing that a total of 100 miners actually invaded the Anglo Gold concession, with 71 of them going underground. Following that invasion, the chairperson of the District Security Council, Faustina Amisa, tells my colleague Ohim Interior, who has been on the ground for us all day, that the last batch of the miners were accosted and arrested and sent to the police.
By the close of Monday, 7 of them had come out. 1 was able to escape, and then the 6 were given to the police and later granted bail. Yesterday in the morning, we were at the scene. Before we left there, 80 plus had come. But as I speak with you, 87 had come out about an hour ago, and they were given to the police. Their statements were taken. Some were granted bail yesterday before I left the scene. But I'm sure by now all of them had been given bail. So the town is calm. Everybody is going up and down with their normal duties. Everything is under control. You see, when they go through their own assets and coming back, they realize that their own assets had been blocked. They exaggerate things, and then the whole thing will seem like people are dying so that they will get public sympathy. You see, when you are there, you hear 300 people have been stuck underground. Media houses talking, stakeholders talking, people, you see, then people are compelled to Anglo Gold Munja Womo, you see, then they get public sympathy. So it's something that they do to gain public sympathy. But could you believe, yesterday, whilst we were persuading them to come for the bus, others were also coming from home. They are now going to underground through some of the illegal holes whilst we were there. A lot of people bought them. That is why I like Joy News. They take their time, they investigate before they come out. Some media houses, they take time. They will take the news all right, but they will take time, investigate further, do comparison, and then come out with the actuals, just like what Joy News does.
And we'll take you to the community shortly, where, as you've just heard there from the chairperson of the District Security Council, Joy News has been doing a deep dive into this, understanding really what the situation is, and that's the result of what the DISEC chairperson has been saying. They will be speaking to our man on the ground for us, or him into pretty shortly. But today, Anglo Gold issued another statement on this particular matter. Michael Paniashali is in the studio with me with that. What's the update from Anglo Gold himself?
So from here, as you heard from the lady already, very cautionary notice as well, and they are careful what they say. Now, what they say in this particular one says that an additional 79 unauthorized individuals safely exited the Obuasi gold mine underground yesterday. The individuals who had entered the underground area without authorization walked out of the mine through the main exit point of their own accord and are in the custody of the Ghana Police Service. No injuries were reported. However, it seems as though that they still don't know the exact number of people that went underground. You heard from the lady that more people decided to go in there. The company is saying that, well, they are reiterating that the main exit ramp from the mine, which is remote from the current active working areas of the mine, remains open, allowing any unauthorized persons underground to exit at any time. Those who may still be underground are strongly encouraged to utilize the designated exit points.
Let's get the latest on this then. Heming has been there for us all day. Heming, so give us the latest on this. So from what I understand, is everybody out of this, everybody else who was in the shaft, are they out?
Yes, Evans, according to the police who are stationed at the entrance of the tunnel and then at the shaft as well, there's no illegal miner left underground. All of them have surrendered and they are giving statements to the police in Obuasi. And so now we can confirm that with the already announced over 300 illegal miners said to have been trapped underground, 83 of them were underground. And 83 of them were actually arrested. And out of the 87, who were arrested, 16 of them were not arrested underground. They were actually hovering around the mining site, waiting for the situation to calm down so that they can also take the opportunity to enter the mining site. So if you take 16 out of the 87 who have surrendered to police, what it means is that 71 of them were underground and not over 300 as being speculated earlier, Evans.
And we're also hearing tonight that because of what has happened, a school there has shut down. This is the Angogo Boase school, correct?
Yes, in the morning, I got information that the school authorities were meeting the staff to discuss security of the students and then staff as well. So I got closer to the school, but unfortunately when I entered, the meeting had already ended and the management members have left the premises. I tried getting some explanations from the school authorities, but unfortunately, they are not mandated by Angogo Ashanti. They need clearance from Angogo Ashanti before they can grant media interviews. But the information I picked from sources close to the school management is that because of what happened yesterday, there were reports and there were also advice from security operatives that there was a need to close down the school, at least to protect lives and property, in order to not to endanger a life of students and teachers who attend school at the AGA schools in Obuasi. So as we speak, the school has been temporarily closed down. It is not too clear when it will be open to the public. But I can tell you the presence of the military team who have been here and patrolling the streets of Obuasi. Every now and then you see them in their vehicles patrolling the streets, and residents seem not to be bothered by their presence. Everybody here is going about his or her normal duties, as earlier stated by the DC for Obuasi, Faustina Anita.
And the DC also confirmed that this was actually something this started as an invasion by 100 of the illegal miners. Is there any clear plan to stop this from happening again?
Yes, for Angogo Ashanti, they have enough security to call off any of such infiltration by illegal miners. And I'm learning that the military team, they have a standby military team that provides all these patrols and surveillance supported by their internal security operatives. But because of the vast land, the vast area, in nature of these mines, the infiltrators are able to infiltrate into the area that they are not required. In fact, they are banned from entering. So Angogo Ashanti will continue to patrol these areas and provide surveillance, including the use of CCTV. In fact, a source tells me the presence of the CCTV did contribute to getting information on the presence of these illegal miners who invaded the Anglo-Gold Ashanti concession. So Anglo-Gold Ashanti has a standard security operations that they follow, and the source tells me that will be maintained. Now, they've also increased the presence of the military to support the standby team that has been operating in these areas. So henceforth, it's going to be ruthless. The men will be very visible on the ground to ensure that Anglo-Gold Ashanti's interests are protected.
Thank you very much, Oheming, for that fantastic reporting there from the Obuasi, where this standoff, as we speak tonight, has ended. A standoff between illegal miners, the police and military, and, of course, the Anglo-Gold Ashanti itself. And if you are in and around Obuasi and had witnessed any of this, please send me a WhatsApp 055-1111-997. I want to quickly bring in the former Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission. He is the founder and president at the Africa Institute of Extractive Industries, Tony Obing. Dr. Obing, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. This isn't the first time a standoff such as this has played out. The last time it happened, just a short few weeks back, it was Wasa, where the miners did not invade only, but burnt properties and put lives at risk. What's the solution to this problem?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you very much, and then good evening to your listeners. I think this is a very complex situation where one can deal with from two angles. One is, by the tenants of the rights, of the concession of Anglo-Gold Ashanti, they have exclusive rights to their concession. And therefore, anyone who has not been invited and goes there in law would be seen to be trespassing. So you're looking at a trespass situation here. And then the next one is a group of people who are actually taking a very risky and dangerous expedition to a concession which they've not been invited. This tells you that we are dealing with desperate people who are not employed, people who are looking to earn a living, and sometimes people who definitely want to challenge the system. So the way to deal with it is to have a very comprehensive approach. And this comprehensive approach should be, focused on trying to address the question of unemployment and economic malice. I think that's the key thing to do as a country. We need to address the issue of unemployment, because if people were employed, it's so dangerous. And by my experience, people die underground by this adventure. In 6 or so years when it happened, there were people who were maimed underground. There were people who died because of gasification and all that. So we need to address the root cause of the issue, which is the absence of opportunity. So that's the first thing that we have to do. And then we need to also continue to educate our people that, it is not their right to enter into mining companies' concession, even though they might think that they need to survive. But you cannot survive on the belly of somebody else. So that's something that we also need to do. Just continue to make it difficult. Continue to educate them. But the third one is to make it difficult for people to enter into your area. If you don't take good precautions, if you don't make it difficult, then people will try. In Tanzania, one of the companies actually had to wall the entire mine, which is quite expensive, and I will not recommend that. But they have to wall that just to avoid, just to prevent people from entering. So these are the three, approaches that I believe initially we could adopt.
Okay. I'm grateful, sir. That's Dr. Tony Obing with his thoughts on what he says is a complex problem, and still listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. And this, of course, is your election headquarters, and now the countdown is on to that Asin North by-election. In the last few minutes, we're getting confirmation that the Electoral Commission has fixed Tuesday, 27th June 2023 as a date for this by-election. Nominations, the Electoral Commission says, will open on Monday, 12th of June, and then through to Wednesday, 14th of June, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. To 5 p.m. You can pick a form if you want to run in these elections as a member and hope to become a member of Parliament from the Electoral Commission offices in that particular district, the Asin North District Office of the Commission. We are also learning tonight from this statement that has been issued by the Commission that the forms are available online and you can pick same and file. Now, the filing fee has been set at 10,000 cedis per candidate. This has just now been determined by the Electoral Commission. So the date is the 27th of June. That's the date now for that by-election. The countdown is already underway because in the New Patriotic Party, we know today that they have opened nominations, and this will last for 48 hours. The steering committee of the party, in a statement, said the party agreed to hold the internal elections on 7th of June. Ahead of that, the party agreed to open nominations from Wednesday, 31st to Thursday, June 1. Now, with less than 24 hours of this deadline to elapse, 2 people have already expressed interest in representing the party in the constituency. The National Youth Wing of the party also today called a press conference to declare that they are ready to storm Asin North.
Good people of the Kumo constituency for believing in us and doing us the honor. The National Youth Wing would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the MP-elect Honorable Ernest Yawinin on his election. He's a humble 38-year-old man who falls within our wing, and we know he will serve his people with dignity. Very soon, there will be another by-election in the Asin North constituency for it. This past weekend, I was in the constituency and I was amazed at the level of development that this government has undertaken there. Superb first-class roads, beautiful astroturf, water projects, schools, just to mention but a few. We are going to Asin North, and let me make a bold declaration that we are going to win. We are going to win it hands down. Amen. Just like we did in the Kumewu by-election. Amen.
Well, we've also been speaking to the party's Director of Elections, Evans Nemako, about the plans for this particular constituency, the by-election, but also the internal process to elect a candidate.
Well, the party's arrangement is that we've opened nomination today and tomorrow. That's closing. And then we conduct vetting on Saturday, Friday, and then on the 7th of June, the party will conduct its primaries to select candidates. So in the event that the EC announces the time for the by-election, the party will be ready to sponsor a candidate for the by-elections.
Can you confirm to us the number of people that have expressed interest by way of picking nomination forms to contest?
The elections committee is chaired by the first vice national chairman, Mr. Danko Smith. The regional party has been mandated to sit and sell the forms to prospective candidates. Once we've opened, we are expecting that any qualified member of the party in the constituency will come up to procure nomination.
And we'll get a bit more on this now that we now know when the by-elections will be held. The Electoral Commission confirming that in the last few minutes. Is going to be on Tuesday, 27th. And then quickly still with the NPP, my colleague Samuel Mbura is joining me in the studio right now. And today there's been a flurry of activity at the party's headquarters because many more presidential hopefuls are picking up nomination forms, hoping to stand and possibly win in their primaries to elect a flag bearer. I understand that Alan Chemantin picked today.
So he's the 8th person to pick the forms after the vice president picked his yesterday with Kojo Poku, an energy expert. So he had a team coming from the Ashanti and Greater Accra region here. And these were mainly market queens who mobilized resources to redeem their pledge, because they actually promised him that if the MPP opens nominations for the presidential race, they will gather resources, come and then pick the forms for him. So what they did today was a redemption of their pledge to him. So they were dressed like queen mothers, as we see in our local, traditional areas, and they actually came to pick the nomination forms for them. We can listen to Nana Abena Sewa Comfort, who is one of the market queens, explaining to us why they did that.
It's my time I did toy any or Kumasi Juno when you're over boy pa and yes and boss.
We promised Alan Sherman that we will give him our support when he decides to run for president.
Na the crata the man of Quancra monocron kunki. Yenya ebedi diska na the aquaqui cratano amano. Na ya camboom any dready phone na camboom and me disika enya more than 1 billion. Titisika na make and many.
And you went to Alan Chamanting's house to follow up. This form has now been handed to him.
Exactly.
What was his response?
So he was happy that the group actually redeemed their pledge to him, and he promised them that he would take up the mantle and then contest the elections. What he wants from them now is for their support. He is optimistic that, God willing, they would win the race.
Okay, so in total, 8 people.
Exactly.
How many more days to go before this is?
We have now till 24th of June,
so
but the party said they are expecting about 9 candidates to pick the form. So we're still monitoring the situation on the ground to bring to our listeners details there.
Let's quickly bring in Nana Boache, who is the national organizer of the party and has been in the thick of things. Mr. Boache, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Ivan.
And in the last few minutes, the EC has confirmed that the by-elections in Asin North will be held on Tuesday, 27th of June, 2023. I know you've already begun processes to elect a candidate. Is that good time for you to prepare?
Whether it's a good time or it's not a favorable time, we have to prepare. This is by the law, and once this by-elections is supposed to be held within 30 days. For a party, we are in a expectant mood to make our preparatory works to meet the 27th date set by the Electoral Commission. So we are already in a preparatory mode.
And I noticed that you've opened nominations. You're hoping to vet this weekend, and then there will be an internal primary, correct?
You are absolutely correct. I mean, that will be next week. By next week, Wednesday, we should conclude on all of these internal elections to elect our candidate. We open nominations today. Tomorrow, we'll close. Over the weekend, we'll go through all the vetting processes, if there are any petitions, any appeals. And then next week, Wednesday, we'll go through the elections to elect our parliamentary candidate.
And of course, this is elections is coming on the back of Kumewu, but this is Asin North. It's a whole different kettle of fish, considering how swing that constituency appears to behave. And in the midst of an economic crisis, many say this is the real deal, far away from what Kumewu was for you, and it's going to be a referendum on your government's ability and what you've done over the last few years. You agree?
Don't forget that in Kumewu, some political watchers also made some of these political predictions. Some said that we were going to have low turnout. Some said that because of the economic challenges we have, it was going to reflect on the voter turnout. And we finished the Kumewu by-elections, and 63% happens to be one of the most favorable voter turnout for the past 20 years. We've had almost about 15 by-elections. Then it's almost about the third best in terms of voter turnout. The last time we had Ayawaso West Wogon elections, we had about 20%. Last elections, our candidate secured 51% of the voter turnout. Now, our candidate, and the new parliamentary MP elect, secured 71%, which is 20% increase. So we are happy with Kumewu by-elections. in all, out of the 21,000, we had almost about 15,200. We secured 15,200 votes. We won polling stations we've never won before. In 2020, between the NDC and the independent candidates, they won 30 polling stations. Just the by-elections we just had, they won just 6. The NPP won 69 polling stations out of the 75. So some political watchers predicted doom for the NPP, and those predictions were made nonsense by the outcome of the results. I have been to Asinop immediately after Kumawu, and I'm telling you, the kind of development and the kind of interventions we made in Asinop, the NPP is going to win that Asinop seat. We have taken over.
I see. Thank you very much, Henry Nabwache. He's a national organizer of the NPP there. Well, if you're in Kumewu, not Kumewu, you're in North tonight, why don't you share your thoughts with us, 055-11-11997. After business, I will share your thoughts with the rest of the world on our WhatsApp console. Plus, we will visit St. Joseph's School in the Talensi district of the Upper East region, where the school's weak infrastructure and inadequate furniture make learning painful in our latest episode of Ghana School of Shame.
The walls have cracked, and the teachers are scared that if they come in, the wall will break, or if teachers are even scared.
That's after George. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans, and coming up in business, price of LPG expected to witness some significant reduction from tomorrow. And Finance Minister Ken Ofriatta signals progress on management of pension funds and review. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Allianz Live and Ghana Pay.
Wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled, hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST Campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Media Sambisanda Moa.
Etiam Ratiano, Mumu Panet, Mufinamo Bodom Pemman Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No, Mumu wants me to be just my Marian in that day. And the crew, corporate moving on Bodom Pimus, so you super excellent Eba. I didn't have Bunny de Braille, who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I need Nakujon, you super excellent Chaco, Nenry dear, a mouse, when you could fit that. No, what you ask you, my mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Chaco. I've had you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
Prepare for an unforgettable theatrical experience as Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and Joy FM, present A Detective Calls.
You must apologize to her at once. Apologize for what? Doing my duty?
The most intriguing play of the year returns to the National Theatre, Saturday 3rd and Sunday 4th June, for 2 captivating shows each day at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.
It didn't seem like such a terrible thing at the time. Don't you understand?
Grab a ticket for this highly anticipated rerun for only 150 cities at Kuala, Airport Shell, Nalim Stores, Bachona Total, Frankie's, or online at www.imagebrogh.com or dial *713*101#, supported by Neeplant Car Rental, Teachercraft, Daily Guide, sponsors The Sport Furniture, Saka Homes, A Detective Calls.
Because you're not the kind of father a chap could come to when you're in trouble, that's why. Hey, don't talk to me like that.
This is not a comedy.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the price of LPG is expected to witness some significant reduction from tomorrow. The LPG Market Association have indicated that we could record about 7% drop in the price per kilogram of the product. Gabriel Kumi is the vice president of the association.
I can confirm that the price of LPG is going to go down between 4 to 5% beginning tomorrow. If we are lucky, competition can drive that further to about 6-7%. So beginning tomorrow, consumers are expected to have some respite in the price of LPG. Over the past 2 weeks, the city has seen some appreciation. It has gained some strength over the US dollar. And the price of crude oil has also seen some decline. That has resulted in the prices of LPG on the international market also going down. So these are the two main factors that has contributed to we are likely to do about 7% beginning tomorrow.
Gabriel Kumi is the vice president of the LPG Marketers Association. We are also expecting the oil marketing firms to take some action with respect to the price of petrol and diesel, that is from tomorrow. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has revealed that government has made some progress with workers on management of their pension funds. It is coming after the Finance Minister denying that government is moving fast to restructure the pension funds, just like how it did with the domestic debts. But speaking at Capital Days Market Program in South Africa this afternoon, organized by MTN Group, the Finance Minister has been given more details on the progress made so far.
And we still have to work with the pension funds, who have about 29 billion, and really let them know that it's not in their best interest to be in government paper. 70% of their money is in government paper, and we need to change that. We also need to get them to use some of their resources in real investments, like toll roads, airport, housing, urban transportation, which happens around the globe. So that's a new thinking, and we hope that will come to the same place. But we did agree with them, find ways to ensure that sustainability and help with macroeconomic stabilization and the economic recovery. Of course, that is being interpreted differently from what we believe to be the spirit of it to what is. But I think we are making headway in those discussions. We also have independent power projects. So through December of last year, it's about 1.6 billion that we owed. I imagine through May, by the time we finish with the discussions, it will be about $2 billion in which we need to find ways of ensuring that going forward, we will be able to pay them regularly, but somehow find a way to restructure this 1.6 billion.
And that is Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta speaking at the MTN Capital Market Day program in South Africa this afternoon. The minister also disclosed that government is hoping to finalize a memorandum of understanding with the external creditors in the coming weeks. These creditors are supposed to bring in some $2.5 billion. Now, telecoms operators are worried that moves to fully deactivate unregistered SIM cards could impact badly on their operations and government's revenue. The National Communications Authority is expected to give clear direction on how the deactivated SIM should be done in the coming hours, despite the expected exemptions. The operators say although they fully welcome the exercise, they are worried about the associated shocks. Kanashigbe is chief executive of the Telecoms Chamber.
It would have an impact on financial inclusion as well. It would also have impacts on, some of government's digitalization and all of that. So work is going on to be able to deal with that. So beyond the impact on the consumer, there's also a major impact on government's fiscal policy because, for every call that is made, the CST, there's VAT that is charged on it. So if you are going to lose that 9 million or so subscribers, definitely it will have an impact on MNO's revenues. But indirectly, not even directly, there'll be an impact on government taxes as well. And then also, if we have this about 7 million subscribers also not being able to do mobile money, then the e-levy that would also be charged on that also would suffer. So in terms of the country as a whole, this has an impact on us.
And Ken Ashigbe has also disclosed that the NCA has agreed to still have a window, even though the numbers will be sealed. They will not be allowed to make calls. They will give them that chance to actually go ahead and register before it can be activated. Now, the Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Land is calling for a review with the fertilizer subsidy program introduced by government under the Planting for Food and Jobs. The institution in its assessment indicated that the initiative is bedeviled with smuggling cases just like what happens in the hikes of food that has resulted in hikes of food currently. Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Operations Officer Tichi Sarah pushed for more robust monitoring system to support the program.
We should look at a revision of the whole subsidy program. Instead of cash payment, government should look at some in-kind subsidies where government absorbs certain and then allow the private sector to distribute. They go to the market and compete instead of government playing that key role. So there should be private sector driven approach going forward.
Tichi Sarah is the Chief Operations Officer of the Ghana Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending to the stock market. And the Ghana Stock Exchange has started making some good returns for its investors on the market. If you have invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange, returns is now pegged at 2.76%. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. A few of your messages now on our WhatsApp console, and many of you are talking about the politics and the Asin North by-election. Senna says MPP must forget Asin North upcoming by-elections. They have to remember last week Umewu constituency by-election, and I hope NDC will win the Asin North seat, he says there. And another view coming in on the subject of Daniel Domelevo says the Supreme Court has shown in the Domelevo case that this president would not have his way every time to pervert justice. That's Kofi Protocol centers that view there. And also this one from Henry Kaswai says in our part of the world, government could perform extraordinarily abysmally poor, and yet the voters or certain state institutions may find a way to bring them into power again. He says not true. And a final one on the situation with the illegal miners. It says, why on earth are these illegal miners thinking it is okay to invade the Anglo Gold mines and get away with it? They can't say it's the only way to feed their families. Nana on the Spinters Road centers that comment. And thank you very much for listening and sharing your thoughts. I want to take you to Talentina in the Upper East region, where 5,000 children in that region have no school furniture. They will have the best chance of succeeding by studying while sitting on stones, tree roots, or on the bare floor. 12-year-old Haruna Karim, a student of St. Joseph's School, Kari, says the lack of basic infrastructure makes learning difficult. In today's episode of Ghana's Schools of Shame, features editor Jojo Copenham has been to Talensi and filed this report.
The St. Joseph's School in Kari, built in 1951, sits in ruins. Aside the deep cracks in the school building, strong winds have ripped off the roofs of the building. The children have now been forced to study under trees. Haruna Karim takes us on a tour of his former classroom.
Come with me and you see our school. This is my school. And something is not happy with me to see the school like this. The walls have crack, and the teachers are scared that if they come in, the wall will break. So, or if teachers are even scared, all of the zincs and the walls are weak. And we don't like to see this school like this. Government should help us with this school. All the walls have cracked and the doors are removed.
My name is Baba Fedos. Look at our school. Look at our nursery children. They are sitting on tree. They don't have any classroom to sit. They are sitting on the floor, no mat. They are sitting on there. They cannot learn.
The children sit on cement blocks, stones, roots of trees, and even on the ground. The Talensi District Assembly has just started digging the ground for the construction of a school block. But how long will it take? The DC for Talensi has some answers.
How soon is a matter of resources. Fortunately, we landed in the hands of a good friend, and he has accepted to build the school to completion before we find money to pay him. Yeah. We can't push him too hard, but we have told him the first phase should be up to roofing. And once it is roofed, we think they can start using it whilst they do the finishing up. So we've given him between 1 and 2 months.
The district is confronted with a huge furniture deficit, and the district director of education confirms the challenges within her jurisdiction are enormous.
My name is Christiana Azora Ayenzoya. Furniture is also an issue. We don't have enough furniture. It's inadequate. You get to a school, dual desks, you may have just 8 or 7 the whole school. And the children sit crowded. Some lower primary, you see them, they are just lying on the bare floor. No furniture for them. I think last year I got about 500 dual desks, 300 from assembly and 200 from central government that we distributed to the schools. I guess that is not enough. I think the furniture deficit is about 5,000.
The children in Talensi are crying to the central government to provide them basic education facilities to stimulate learning. Jojo Kobner, Joy News.
And you can watch that episode on our social media platforms. YouTube is the place to be. Just subscribe to our channel there and watch it. It's on Facebook also and across our social media platforms. It's also on myjoyonline.com, and it's airing across our channels on the Joy News channel also. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has busted a suspected power thief who was found to be stealing power, not only for himself, but selling it to 33 other homes in Bichli. Now, the ECG says a suspect who is currently on the run has been collecting bills from the 33 homes over the period with the pretense of paying the money to the ECG. My colleague James Abaji has been following this story for us. And James, so how did you discover this?
So Evans, this whole drama unfolded when the ECG team invaded Bichli area as part of the second phase of their revenue drive on Tuesday. So from what the ECG has been sharing with us, these 33 structures are actually shacks built with plywood, synonymous to the type of structures put up in this enclave. So the suspect actually has an ECG meter mounted on his wall to suggest that he was legally connected to the grid, only for the ECG to conduct their checks to realize that he has actually bypassed the meter. And then when the team extended their checks, they found out that he was extending power to the neighboring structures.
Not only that, but he was also collecting monies from the 33 structures.
Exactly, Ivan. So the suggestion is that he used the meter mounted on his wall as a decoy to convince these unsuspecting customers that they need to be paying monthly dues. Bills actually to the ECG. So he collect bills between 30 to 50 Ghana cedis from each and every one of them every month, which never gets to the ECG, which suggests that he is not only stealing power but also defrauding these persons and making money out of this venture. Reason the ECG had to call for his arrest.
Let's thankfully speak to the ECG Tema region PRO, Sichua Mensah joins us on the line right now. Madam Mensah, so I know that you were looking for this man. Actually, summons, I understand, has been issued. Have you found him yet?
Hi, Ivan. Good evening. No, we have not found him yet. We have made an official complaint to the police today. He's still on the run. The person has not surfaced yet. So we have not gotten the person yet. However, yesterday we served a summons letter. We left a summons letter at the premise and asked that when he returns, he should please endeavor to report himself to the ECG Tema regional office.
And so you're hoping that he will do so. But I guess the police also have the mandate to arrest him if they find him.
Yes. So we are hoping that he will do so. But then it's an ongoing process. Investigations have started. So we hope that we'll get a culprit, and whatever has to be done, the person would have to face the law.
Sichua, thank you very much. Let's do sports now. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Well, it's Bofokotano who are in the news following their promotion to the Ghana Premier League after defeating Techiman and Level Wonders. And a board member, Mr. Charles Anto, has been assuring the players and fans of the club of massive investment into the club following their promotion to the Ghana Premier League. He was speaking to me on the sidelines of the coronation at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Doldrums for too long. Finally, God has rewarded our hard work. We are here, and we are here for good. We want to thank everybody, the playing body, management, supporters. They've been wonderful. Corporate bodies in Sunyane, all the politicians, we are very grateful for their support. And we promise we are going to make the GPL a better league in Ghana. Football is about players. Football is about good management. Football is about professionalism. And that is what we are bringing on board. We are going to make sure that we put the team in a good shape so we come to stay. Once we look after our players very well, once management does what it's supposed to do, we know we are going to be in the Premiership forever. We are not going back to the first division. We are forever going to be in the Premiership. We are going to make a positive impact. And that is what we have come to do in the Premiership.
Board member Charles Anto there. And events coming up in some 5 minutes now is the final of the Europa League between Jose Mourinho's AS Roma and Sevilla, who have been regarded as the landlords of the Europa League. And that will be coming up in some 5 minutes time. That's it for sports, and it was brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Chaco. And we say Pepsodent, every smile matters.
You know what I always say when we get to this time of the season? It is a season of finals.
Yeah.
So the season ends, and then the finals begin.
Absolutely.
Europa goes in, and then you have the Conference League, which
will be coming up this weekend on Sunday.
Then there's the FA Cup
on
final,
Saturday,
the Champions League.
Next week Saturday. So
the season of finals. Sport for choice, really.
Yeah, we're building up to the Hit FM, Joy FM, Rep Your Jesse,
Rep Your
Social Aviation Center. So
absolutely.
Let's make a date.
Yeah, I'm repping my jersey for that final because I'm planning for next year's final when United will be representing live in a final against a certain team who are yet to identify themselves. Listen, it's a tragic story, but one also of hope. It's a story about the cured leper whose poor living condition attracted the benevolence of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 3 years ago has died. Now, a Joy News Hotline documentary, Withered Skins by Seth Kwame Boateng, revealed that Madam Poga was left destitute by leprosy, living on the outskirts of Gurungu in the Upper West region. Madam Dari Poga was forced to live in a dilapidated 5 meters by 6 mud hut with her granddaughter daughter Ajara after losing 4 of her 10 children and being abandoned by the rest. Now, that particular story took this country by storm. It was a major discussion, and indeed the vice president responded. Her situation changed, however, significantly after the vice president got involved when he saw that documentary. Here's a report by Rafiq Salam.
Join Yusuf Kwame Boateng in a hotline documentary titled Warrior Skins, highlighted the squalid and dehumanizing conditions she has been living under at an outlandish Muturu community. Darapoko contracted leprosy at an early age and as a result had all 10 fingers and toes except the big ones chopped off. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia was touched when he watched the documentary and directed Apa's regional minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, to donate some food items and 2,000 Ghana cedis for her upkeep, and secondly, construct a modest house for her. Construction of the 2-bedroom house, hall, and other ancillary facilities took off immediately after the donation, and within 7 weeks, the house was ready for the octogenarian to live a once loved, jaded, death-trap mud-built structure that will not even pass for pen for animals in peri-urban areas.
And just to see the smile on her face with her grandchild Ajara, who is here, really brings so much pleasure to my heart, and I'm sure she's also very, very happy. And I think this is how we should, live as, people here in Ghana and in the world. We should take care of the very poor and the vulnerable. In her state, she is not able to work and all of that. But we should also know that cured lepers are not people that should be ostracized, and they are not people that should be abandoned.
And that was the vice president back then when he stepped in to help. And today he's written on his social media pages. He says that he received with sadness the death of my 85-year-old friend, Madame Dari Poga, a cured leper whose deplorable conditions in the Gurungu Motori in the Wa West municipality became a national conversation, and I provided her with a 2-bedroom house. I thank God for being able to put a smile on her face in the last years of her life, and may Madame Dari so rest in peace. And to another icon indeed, and an icon of storytelling in this country. What a loss for African storytelling. And Professor Ahmad Taidu inspired our generation. All these are just a few of the many tributes that were poured in since the passing of Professor Ahmad Taidu. That was announced today by the family, described as one of Africa's most celebrated authors and playwrights, a renowned feminist, depicted her ideologies in the works, some of which have been captured in the following report.
Western and African worldviews. Alma's first novel, Our Sister Killjoy, remains one of her most popular works. It portrayed a dissenting perspective on sexuality in Africa. Another novel, The Dilemma of a Ghost, earned her the African Woman Dramatist title. Her book, Changes, won her the Commonwealth Writers' Prize. Other popular books include Anoa and the Eagles and the Chicken.
And indeed, many of those books we read in school inspired us to be great as well. May her soul rest in perfect peace. And that's it for News Night tonight. And just before we go, I need to introduce you to the woman, strong and sassy, in everything, and she's joining us right now to host the Strong and Sassy, of course, with the girls.
Hi, Evan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
By the way, what's up for a conversation tonight?
Today we're discussing tattoos and piercings. To do or not to do? Do you have any tattoos?
Oh, why are you asking me that question? I was going to ask you that question first. No, I don't have a tattoo. I've never dreamt of one. Do you want to get one?
Yes.
Oh, a tattoo. Okay, where?
One on my thigh.
Okay.
And then one on my sleeve.
Okay, and a piercing?
No.
But you have one already.
You know?
Yeah, it is. You know, earrings are,
Yeah, so I think I'll keep it there. But if you're listening to the show, please join us in a few minutes. We're going to have an elaborate conversation about tattoos and piercings. So stay and
Eyram is in charge, and she is strong and sassy.